What's up, guys? Make sure before the video starts, you guys like and subscribe. That'll really help me out. Thanks in advance.
Hey, we kicked off this two-day event by revealing what goes on inside a man's mind. But trust and believe, ladies, men are just as lost, probably more so, when it comes to what you really think. So this is your chance to give your candid answers to these guys and their most crucial, critical questions that they have. The first question.
Aaron, stand up, Aaron. What's your question?
Back in the day when I was in relationships with a couple of girls, not all at the same time, but it was more or less, she was so concerned about where I was. So I would get a phone call and she'd say, hey, where are you? And I'd be like, I'm just hanging out with my friends doing whatever we're doing, pretty much nothing. So her question to me is always, oh, well, would you mind maybe send me like a Snapchat or, you know, anything to let me know exactly what you're doing at this moment? So my question is, why is it so dang important for women to know exactly what we're doing every second of the day?
Well,
That's her being insecure.
is it because A, women like details, it's how we're built, B, we don't trust you, or is it C, to make sure we approve of what you're doing? A whopping 71% of women said C, they want to make sure they approve of what you're doing. Memory, you answered that way, why?
I did. I've had many long-term relationships, and let's just say many of my exes have not made the right decisions while I wasn't around. I know. One of my exes went out of town without me knowing. He couldn't get to work on Monday. He almost lost his job. Another time, he went and bought an unauthorized toy, a $10,000 motorcycle. So needless to say, I needed to keep tabs on him because he was bound to do something ridiculous without my approval.
An unauthorized toy, bro. Like, there are actually dudes out here getting fucking sunned by these women, man. Like, if you make your own money and you pay your own bills, why are you listening to anyone else's feedback on how you should spend your money and run your life? I don't understand that lifestyle.
I think that when you answer 71% of you say it's because you want to make sure that you approve of what we're doing. They think they don't need your approval. But, fella, but listen to this though. It's really better than them saying they don't trust you. Because that's how we take it. We take it as you don't trust us. Now, since we're really doing nothing, I'm not going to justify your lack of trust in me with a picture or a snapshot or going over and coming home just because you ain't feeling good about it. Because we don't hear, let me help you make a great decision, or is this okay? We hear, you don't trust us. And I think what they're hearing is that.
Let's find Dan. Where's Dan? Dan, you have a question for us?
I do. So this is based on experience of mine as well. I was married a few years back, and everything was going really well. The relationship was awesome, and then I ended up losing my job and decided to make a career change. So money wasn't coming in as steadily as before. I couldn't get her the things that she wanted or take her out as much as we did before. And it eventually got to a point where she was distancing herself from me and kind of pushed away from the relationship and ended up in a divorce. She left. Now, I took it very seriously as far as getting through the good times and the bad, and obviously she didn't. Why do women basically give up or become distant with a guy when he struggles financially?
Okay, we asked the ladies this question. Why do
They lose interest because a lot of them are looking for that traditional relationship where the guy is the protector and the provider. So if you're not making money, it complicates your ability to be a provider. It ain't rocket science.
women lose interest when a man struggles financially? Is it A, man is supposed to provide? Is it B, because you start to lash out at us? Or is it C, the man becomes a loser? Well, more than...
They're going to say B because that's the most politically correct answer. It takes the agency away from them and it blames you.
Then half of the women said it's B because you lash out at them.
Exactly. Exactly. This shit is so predictable. Come on, man. You give them a fucking list of choices and they're going to pick the one that makes them look the best. They're going to pick the one that removes all blame from them. These surveys be so out of control, man. Like,
Where's Erica?
Hi.
Go ahead.
So I've dated men who've made less than me, and one in particular decided to go back to school shortly after we got into a relationship. So obviously he was pressed financially at the time. I didn't mind, but I think it did bother him though. For example, on my birthday, I suggested a free concert for us to go to. He got so hung up over the cost of parking, and when I said, I'll cover it, his demeanor changed, he became annoyed, and we ended up not going at all. And then another time, on Christmas, we were living apart in separate states, so I got him a surprise trip to come out and visit me. He got annoyed again and accused me of trying to show him up because I knew that he couldn't do a gift that was on that level, so.
To be fair, a lot of dudes fall under that category, but N equals 1. I don't see how their responses square with the requirements that a lot of women have for the man to be a provider, to be the breadwinner. When you look at these candid and public interviews where women are asked, how much money do you want your guy to make, and how much money do you think is acceptable? Most of them expect the dude to be in the 6-figure range.
I think for me to be comfortable, like staying at home and not working, like, I feel like this is gonna sound bad. I feel like 300,000. Like, I guess if they made less than that, I feel like we wouldn't have the lifestyle I wanted, so I would work.
Right.
I'd have to say 127. Ideally, like if they're in an industry where they do have longevity and they know like, hey, every single year I'm gonna get a raise between like 3 to 5%, which, you know, it just depends. Like I would be comfortable with that.
$500,000? Is that bad? I know that 1% of men make $500,000, or like less than 1% of men or something.
I'd say probably 150 to $250,000 a year. That's my guess.
Which is so funny because I saw this video the other day where it was saying like, if your wife can spend more than you make, like you need to make more money. So it really just depends. But I mean, just to have like a really decent lifestyle and you know, be supported well, like 150, maybe to 250,000 a year would be comfortable for sure. The more the merrier.
Ideally, my husband needs to be making like 650,000.
Women are saying he's crazy. So that's what. Well, here's what I think happens here. A lot of times we are ashamed at points when we haven't gotten ourselves to the point we want to be at in life to be the provider. And sometimes we have to deal with the shame of it. So when you buy a guy a ticket and he goes, damn, you know, I can't do it myself. I can't get over there to see him. Now you're gonna just buy me a ticket? Hold on, let me figure this out. Give me a minute. Let me pull something together. Don't just buy me a ticket. And that's where the lashing out comes in at. And it's not lashing out at you. It's really is lashing out at himself. If we're not where we want to be, a lot of guys are just ashamed.
It's like strangely, any questions the men ask, it's just your fault. You're insecure and you feel like you need to keep tabs on me. Oh, it's because I need to make sure I approve of what you're doing. That's why. But on the opposite end, if a guy does that, he's controlling. Oh, you lose interest in me when I experience tough times? It's because you lash out at me. Not because ideally you'd want a partner to make more than you, and being with a partner who doesn't is a less than ideal situation that probably turns you off. Not because of that. It's because you start lashing out at me. Okay,